Hey, welcome to Cow-Free Kicks. On this channel, I do leather-free sneakers only, and this video is all about a new drop from Nike. It is the Nike AIR Pegasus 89 Golf. Welcome to the channel. If you've not seen one of my videos before, I always look into 5 different categories that I think are really important when you're making that decision into buying a new pair of sneakers. And they are looks, comfort, weight, breathability, and price. And then at the end of the video, I will give these Nike AIR Pegasus 89 Gs an overall rating out of 5 stars. As always, if you do like what you see as you're going along and you want to show a little bit of extra support for the channel, please do give a big thumbs up like on your device below, and also whilst you're down there, and if you've not done so already, please do take time to subscribe to the channel. So let's start this review off as we always do by checking these out on feet. These Nike AIR Pegasus 89 Gs, with the G standing for golf, are currently available in 5 different colorways via the Nike app and website, and I think every colorway is absolutely killer because this is one of my favorite silhouettes of all time. The AIR Pegasus 89 in the original form is a shoe that I absolutely love, and Nike have just made a few changes to create this golf version. The main change being that they've created a fully waterproof shoe. Now, it's got a 1-year waterproofing guarantee, and that's because they've got this plastic, what they've called skin mesh, that is stretched over the upper of the shoe and has all of this synthetic leather detailing on top of it. That is a waterproof membrane that's going to keep your feet nice and dry whilst you're out on the course, or if you're just wearing these as an everyday lifestyle shoe out and about while it's raining. And on top of that, you have what Nike have said is synthetic leather. Now, this synthetic leather detailing is the best synthetic leather I have ever seen because it has a grain to it that you would normally only find on hairy leather. What I'm talking about is when you rub leather one way, it goes a bit bobbly, you rub it the other way and it goes smooth. That's the grain, and this comes with that. I have checked absolutely every listing online and they all say it's synthetic leather, so I'm gonna have to take Nike's word for it, but it is the best imitation leather that I have ever seen in the hairy form. Now, that all sits on top of this skin mesh upper. As you move towards the rear of the sneaker, you get some really nice old school Nike Air branding with the swoosh, and you get some more Nike Air Pegasus branding on the tongue with a little bit of the golf nod to it as well. And you can see you get further branding inside the shoe on the insole. When you move towards the midsole of the sneaker, this is the standard kind of foam, dual foam midsole that you've got with the 89s, but it does have a Nike Air Zoom unit embedded in the heel for a little bit of extra comfort, which we'll talk about in the next section in more detail. Now, all of that sits on top of another change that Nike have made, which is the waffle cutaways that you get with the original have been upgraded to create a much grippier and larger tread on the shoe in all areas, and it runs off in multiple different directions to create extra grip whilst you're out and about, again on the course or on just in your day-to-day walks. And overall, I think they haven't really changed the silhouettes look that much. One thing I have noticed is slightly different with this extra tread that you get on the bottom. The front here of the outsole unit, as it tapers up the top of the toe box, is a little bit thicker and sticks out a little bit more. But other than that, I can't really notice many other looks changes at all. Now, I want to move on to their comfort, where I want to put this Zoom unit midsole to the test on my back doorstep. Even though I absolutely love these AIR Pegasus 89, sadly there's always been a major issue for me around their comfort, and that's because you just don't get that much comfort from this dual cushioned midsole unit. You can see there's a cut here just in the midsole. There's 2 different foam densities that make up this midsole unit, and additionally you have a concealed Zoom Air unit in the heel of the shoe as well for extra comfort. Now, whilst you can feel the additional bounce that you get from that Zoom Air unit towards the heel of the foot, unfortunately that The density of these foams is incredibly firm. You can see here, I'll try and flex the shoe, but I don't really have much flex at all. And you can see from the step test, I got really little responsive give and bounce back from this midsole unit, which unfortunately means that you do get a much firmer ride underfoot than you may expect from a pair of Nike Airs. Also, when it comes to comfort on top of the foot, they've got a really nice amount of padding towards the heel and underneath the tongue, and that padding runs throughout. But whilst I was walking around in these, this quite heavy set skin mesh membrane, if you flex the shoe, you can see here that it bends in and cuts quite deep into the top of your toes. Now you don't get that with the standard pair of Pegasus that has like just the foam detailing in the toe box. Because you've got a much heavier material that's a lot denser, it's going to create a little bit of a cutting effect, and I did feel that whilst walking around on top of my toes, and I really didn't enjoy that sensation. Now fit wise, they're an absolutely true fit for me. I've got perfect length UK size 10 feet, and my feet are slightly wider than average, and I found the toe box offered just enough room for me, but I do like a snug fit. So if you want a bit more width, I'd definitely go half a size up if you do have wide feet. But overall, a bit of a letdown, like I've said, is always an issue with Nike Air Pegasus 89. So I wasn't expecting them to be incredibly comfortable, but I was expecting them to be possibly a little bit more comfortable than previous versions. Now moving on to their weight, I want to pop them on the scales. Coming in at over 400 grams per shoe, you can tell that these Nike Air Pegasus 89 Golfs are on the heavy side. I think any shoe that's over 400 grams is definitely getting too heavy. Anything around the 350 gram mark and below can be considered lightweight, and anything around the 300 gram and below mark is an incredibly lightweight pair of sneakers. Now these definitely have been made heavier by the fact that you do have this heavy synthetic leather overlay on top of this very dense skin mesh membrane that Nike have used to waterproof the sneaker, and then you've got the additional grip on this already heavy outsole unit. It's just overall a heavy pair of shoes, and I just think they've made them too heavy to possibly enjoy them as an everyday lifestyle shoe, especially if you are going to take them long distances. Now I want to talk more about their breathability, where I'm going to pump the sneaker full of smoke, and hopefully, because they are waterproof, none of the smoke will escape. So with a waterproof sneaker, I expect no smoke to escape at all, and this was not quite as clear cut as that. Now you could see that no smoke escaped from areas that does have this waterproof membrane on in the toe box and also the middle of the foot. But Nike have put, for some reason, additional lace loopholes just at the front, at the bottom of the laces on both sides of the shoe, which goes straight through the membrane and straight into the foot. You can see the smoke escape from there, and also smoke escaped very heavily from the tongue as well. And that's because the tongue hasn't been sewn into the upper. It's just free to roam about on top of your foot. There's no waterproof gulleting or anything there that has been made available for the tongue. The tongue's just made out of standard polyester as well. It's just like a polyester foam tongue. Not any of this membrane is present in that part of the shoe. So water is going to get into this sneaker quite clearly through the laces and through these additional lace loopholes that Nike have added. So it's not quite as clear cut as saying they're not breathable at all, which is what I would normally do, because they are breathable. But in this case, it's not a good thing. You really want to be buying a waterproof pair of shoes that's going to really offer you 100% waterproof ability wherever this shoe is on your foot, and sadly it's just not going to do that. So I do think I'm going to have to take that consideration into the final mark, because they're not as waterproof as I would have liked. Now moving on to their price. Nike have made this golf version a waterproof shoe, and they're charging £110 for these pair of sneakers, and I just think that's too much when you take into consideration the fact that the one aim for this sneaker is to create a waterproof shoe you can take around the golf course. Yes, they've done that with adding the spikes, but that's impacted the weight. They've added this membrane on them, which I think affects the comfort because it cuts into your toe when it bends and flexes, and also they haven't waterproofed the whole shoe. There are areas of the shoe where the water is going to get in. And for that reason, I can't give these any more than 2 stars, and it absolutely pains me to do that, because I absolutely love the way that these sneakers look, and I love the Pegasus 89s when they're just a pair of Pegasus 89s, when they don't try and be something else. They're not trying to be a golf shoe that I don't think performs where you'd want it to be. And yes, it's got a 1-year waterproof guarantee, but that's just areas of the shoe that've got this membrane on. Surely that does mean that this shoe isn't going to be as waterproof as you may expect. And also, I just can't get away from the fact that It's 2024 and Nike still haven't made this a much more cushioned version of the 89s. I just thought they would have had the chance to upgrade the comfort somewhere, but sadly it's just the same old firm feeling that you get under your feet. So overall, 2 stars is all I can give them. Now, if you've liked what we've seen today, please do not forget to give the video a thumbs up right before you leave. You can also follow me on Instagram, and hope to see you again soon. Bye.